Hey everybody, welcome back. Um, so one thing that we discussed before we got on air, but thought it might be a useful tool to share with you, is safety tools. And so for that, we do two things. We use the lines and veils system, which is where we write down a list of lines, which are anything that people are totally uncomfortable with that won't show up in the game, and veils, which are things that people just don't want to go into the details of. And so if they show up in the game, we'll just sort of narrate over them as, okay, that happens. Now let's move on. And then in addition to that, we use the X card tool. Ray, do you want to talk about the X card?
Sure. So the X card is just sort of a content omission tool. So basically, since we're playing online, just some notification to the GM or facilitator that, like an X, or we type it in chat sometimes, and it just means that that content is removed for whatever reason, no questions asked. And the reason why we do that is just because, sometimes we're all, our well-being is the most important thing of all, basically. So that's what that means, and just we're all agreeing to play this game. And if at any point there's something that we don't like, we can tell the others, and we can not have that in our game.
All right. Stepping back into the action, I'm going to say we'll do a little time skip forward. Say you each split up to wander around town. So just quickly describe what you were doing, and then your characters will reconvene to compare notes.
Now, just to clarify out of character, we are attempting to find further information in approaching the ferries, correct?
No, this one is because the town is in danger of being invaded, and
Mm.
they're not doing enough to defend themselves. So you're either going to have to stop the invasion somehow, or convince the town to protect themselves.
So, getting an eyeball on the actual defenses as of right now. What are the city's responses? Is their focus elsewhere? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think I'm interested in looking into the politics in the town. We've been seeing uh, political posters, and there's obviously an election going on. So I'm going to see if I can find somebody, take a look at what's going on, see if there's anybody who's interested in talking about uh, the election. Nothing, to under the table, just hey, what's up with these two people running for mayor? Something
Okay.
along those lines. If that's in like a bar or saloon or some other place like that, I'd be happy to do that.
Sure.
Whatever, I'm just going to wander around looking for an opportunity like that.
Sure. Yeah. So you slide into the bar and get into a rousing political debate between the supporters of Mayor Becker and mayoral candidate Tom, and the thing that becomes clear pretty quick is that Becker is a popular mayor who's done a lot for the town's prosperity, and that's something that both sides will agree on. And that Tom's big focus is he thinks Becker hasn't done enough to crack down on crime or to improve security against threats coming from the land side of the town.
And we would think that the threat that we're concerned about is most likely to come from the landward side of the town.
Yep.
Okay.
All
I
right.
would definitely be drinking. So I'm in the
Just-
scene
just
too. Yeah.
Pouring alcohol down
Yeah.
your wooden throat.
Nothing's working. Yeah.
All
Nothing
right.
feels the
Maybe
same.
if you drink enough, you'll wake up and be human again.
Yeah.
Okay. And so as you're just drinking there, a figure's gonna approach you, and be like, "Hey, buddy, are you looking to buy some drugs?"
Am I?
And
Uh-oh.
he's gonna pull open his coat and start offering you a variety of alchemical drugs.
Oh man.
And he says, I got something that'll work for a golem like you if you're interested.
Which one of these potions turns me back into a human?
He says, back into a human.
Yeah. Hands, feet, other extremities.
And he says, he closes his coat and he says, I think you've had enough, buddy.
No, please! Why won't you give it to me? He's gonna just keep pouring booze. It does nothing.
And he walks away and then just sort of hustles out of the building as you make a scene. All right, and what's Irma been up to?
I think Irma hit up a bakery first and like stashed away, kind of like she has like a false bottom in the bottom of her pot. And so she has like some oilskin rags that she'll like wrap up some muffins in for the guards at the front gate because she promised. And then probably go and like find the local guard station or something like that, pass around some muffins, get them talking to Auntie Irma, and kind of maybe doing some training or whatnot with them to kind of like, show me what you got, kind of figuring out like how battle ready they are. Are they getting sloppy? Are they actually like, are they on their toes? Are they expecting something? Or are they just, whatever, nothing's gonna.
They seem pretty relaxed. They're all like happily eating their muffin without any worries, and that they show you their moves. But one thing you notice is that the captain, says thank you for the muffin, and then you notice out of the corner of your eye that he just sort of drops it in the trash when nobody's looking. And while everybody else is being all polite and friendly, he just sort of sits in the back of the guard station and is watching you suspiciously.
I paid good money for that blueberry muffin.
Maybe he's allergic to blueberries and didn't want to be rude.
I'll probably ask him what's the problem, Buster.
Okay. Well, I think that's gonna be an action roll then, in controlled position, but you could cause a little trouble if you're too forward with him. And to just find out what the problem is, the effect will depend on which action you choose. Emote is a good one because that's the action for controlling your own emotions and provoking emotions in others. So if you're trying to draw him out that way. And then the other one that would probably be useful if you just want to try and read him Sherlock Holmes style would be Survey, but you'll probably have less effect just reading him without provoking him first.
I do think emoting would definitely be in Irma's frame of mind there. Now, I've not actually, I do have 4 action dots remaining that I've not assigned. So I guess I will go ahead and add some into emote here. And I think we'll go ahead and put 2 in there. And I'll go ahead and roll 2 dice.
Okay.
A 3 and a 1.
So since your highest roll was a 3, that's a failure. And so in the case of a failure, you do not get the effect. Your character fails to do what they want, and you suffer consequences based on the position. In this case, the position was controlled, which is the safest kind of position. And so I'm going to say that the consequence is that you can try again, but it'll be at an even worse position. So you try and rile him up and get him interested, and he just coldly tells you to leave him alone.
Yeah, take that, Irma.
I mean, honestly, no risk, no gain. Might as well go for it again at risky position.
All right. So at risky position, if the roll is less than a 6, the consequences will be more severe this time, but the effect is still normal. So on a success, you'll get him to reveal information.
Okay.
Wow.
3 and a 3.
All right. Well, with the highest die being a 3, that's a failure again. And this time, he's going, as the consequence, he's going to stand up and say, "Get out of here right this minute, or I'll have you arrested for trying to interfere with my work." And that's the consequence of the position being worse. Um, and since it was risky, I'm also going to assign a second consequence, which is that the other officers are also going to sour on you. They're like, "Hey, why is she harassing our captain? I thought she was cool."
That went
She's
south real
challenging his
fast.
authority in
So
front of his men.
you can resist one or both of those consequences if you want to. When you resist, you're gambling stress to erase a consequence and sort of undo it from the fiction.
Hmm. I will resist his men changing their opinion of.
You're not going to draw the ire of his men.
I think she kind of like passes out like the other muffins and whatnot. It's kind of like,
Just
oh,
bribery.
yeah, total bribery, other sweets and whatnot. Okay, bye. Just hands them out and just leaves.
Captain, why'd you have to make her leave? All right. And you meet up with the rest of the party who are still at the bar. You're like, this isn't where they said we would meet, but it's not surprising either.
And somebody is very obviously drunk, trying to get drunk.
Well, how much effect does alcohol have on Grigsby?
Are you a human?
No, I'm a dryad golem.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I thought you meant Jack. Yeah. Grigsby is not affected in any way.
Not at all. Okay, that's what I was curious about. Yeah, no, I'm thoroughly capable of getting drunk.
So as a dryad, you do live in symbiosis with the termites in your body who help you reshape your wooden body. So I don't know what effect the alcohol is going to have on them. If anything, you probably just feel a little sick because it's probably poisonous to them.
The worst. The worst.
Hangover, but no drunkenness. Yeah.
Just all termite farts.
Cursed. Termites in me now? Who wants termites in them? Oh.
All right, I'm going to say that Jack has a little whiskey in him, but has deliberately decided not to get drunk.
Probably wise.
I think Irma will just kind of like take one look at Grigsby and then look over here at Jack and then just be like eye roll, walk over to the bartender and order like raw eggs or something, and like makes a hangover drink and like passes it off to Grigsby.
I don't know what that's going to do for him exactly.
Nothing good. You want to try it anyway?
Drink this. I'll tell you what I found out. Okay.
Okay. Now, Grigsby will drink it.
All right. Makes you more nauseous, not less, but.
Oh, poor Griggs. This doesn't make sense. It doesn't taste like anything. I shouldn't be getting sick.
Not in my pot. That's not what this is for.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Well, maybe someday we can find something that'll get you drunk. But apparently booze is not it.
Might need a little bit of resin or something. I'm not sure, Jack.
Yeah, maybe a little turpentine would do it.
Could head down to the hardware store instead of the bar. See what
Give
works.
that a try.
Little linseed oil or something.
Yeah.
Well, I went ahead and passed out some muffins and sweets up at the one of the guard postings back there, up on the wall. They're sloppy. They're not expecting nothing.
They looked at coming in. I've been looking into the political situation here. There's an election coming up, as you've noticed, but it looks like the current mayor, Becker, is popular but not very devoted to defenses, and his opponent, among other positions, has been running on the idea that the town is very vulnerable, especially from the landward side. So I think I don't know, would it make sense to go and perhaps talk to Mr. Tom and see what his thoughts are, or maybe if he has any information about upcoming threats?
Could always ask them both, but if somebody's saying that the town doesn't have a good guard and facilitates expression of that, might be working
That
for
could be
the other
helpful.
side.
All right. Well, it happens that you've seen, as you've traveled around, both the mayoral office and the election building where Tom is working out of. So it's up to you which one you want to check out first.
Well, I could see playing this one of two ways. One way would be to go to Mayor Becker and say, "Look, you're vulnerable on this platform that says the town is not so well defended, and perhaps we could help you with that." Another would be to go to Mr. Tom and say, "We hear you're concerned about this, and we have similar concerns."
Good thing I want to know is when the last time they were attacked, technically. Everything all seems to be seaward, nothing towards the land.
Yeah. Did I hear anything
Especially if
when I was
there's been a
talking
big
to the
spell.
political folks about that?
So there was a minor sea monster attack earlier this month, and those happen every once in a while. The ship crews are used to them. They help repel them, and then they didn't say anything about a landward attack. Both sides sort of agreed that like they could be better defended, but it's been a long time since they've been in any real danger from that side.
Mm-hmm. When we were looking at the defenses, the cannons, are those pretty much designed to be trained toward the sea and not toward the land?
Yeah, because of the cliff face, it would be very hard for them to shoot up with the cannons
Right.
at anybody invading.
And their carriages are not built to go around in the other direction.
Right.
Right. So would it be fair to say that this town is pretty much defenseless in a landward direction, aside from just some guards?
Yeah, that's right.
I wonder if anyone's facilitating it. Do you think the current mayor or potential runner is working for the other side?
It's possible. You said you had a little bit of a run-in with the guard captain.
Yeah.
Did you get any sense that that perhaps he's deliberately keeping things vulnerable?
Not exactly sure, to be honest. Didn't get a good beat on his personality or type. But he was definitely suspicious of me.
Yep.
Tried to cover my tracks, but what is a girl to do sometimes, you know? Trying to
Sometimes
pass
you
out
just don't
muffins.
have the cards in your hand.
Yeah. Now, if I would have brought chili, pretty sure I could have turned him around.
That might do it. Well, perhaps for later.
Yeah.
But my sense is that a good next thing to do would be to go and talk to this Mr. Tom feller.
Think that might be a good play for us, Grigsby. Are you up for it?
All right. So you haul Grigsby down to Tom's office. Along the way, he disgorges a large amount of undigested booze and at least one egg.
For somebody who's not drunk, he's pretty impressive what he drinks.
And you arrive at Tom's office, and there's two campaigners at the door, and one of them comes up and waves and shakes your hand and is like, "Would you like to hear the good word of Mayor Tom?"
Yes, sir.
Mayoral candidate Tom, that is. Get a little ahead of myself.
Maybe we would. Tell us more about this this candidate Tom.
Oh, come in. He is the candidate for safety. Let me tell you, this town is not safe enough. And he opens the door and tries to escort you into the building. And he says, yes, Tom is the candidate who believes that you should be safe.
And what would you say the primary risks to safety are here in this town?
Well, come in, and I'll show you. And he walks inside. I'm going to assume you guys follow in.
Sure.
And up there on the wall is a big top-down map of the town. And it's got defenses drawn out all along the cliff face, including two towers on either of the seasides that would point down at the sea. And he starts pointing at enthusiastically saying, like, these towers would provide defenses against naval attacks, allowing us to shoot down at ships, not just sea monsters. And these defenses would protect us against threats from the land. Now, you may think, but the town hasn't been attacked since the Empire came in. Yes, but the Empire is falling back. And with that comes a lot of our defenses. In fact, I don't know if you've heard this, and this isn't Mayor Tom's official position, but we've heard that the Revenant Horde up north might be coming this way. Wouldn't it be nice if we had some walls set up here with men defending them instead of Mayor Becker's current policy of, guess we'll die?
And how would you be able to support such infrastructure here?
Oh, that's all budgetary issues. You'll have to wait until the mayor's next big speech on that one. That's not my department.
Does he have any of this budgeted down, penciled out?
I'm sure he does. I'm sure he's got it all worked out. The town collects plenty in, well, it could collect plenty in taxes, assuming we had the guards to properly tax, the smuggling and
Well, it's pretty clear that there's plenty of trade going through here. So even if you were to put tariffs on the above board stuff, there's got to be a good amount of revenue that could be made under those circumstances.
And he claps you on the shoulder and says, see, this guy gets it. And he pokes you in the chest and says, I bet you're voting for Tom already.
You're starting to convince us.
I like him. Seems like an honest fella.
Not like we're registered to vote here.
And he says, Tom actually has some free time in his schedule. If you'd like to meet him, I could just take you upstairs. I'm sure he'd love to talk to some prospective voters.
Is there
I think we might be interested in meeting such an august personage.
Yeah, they do have like a little flag.
Yeah, I'm definitely grabbing one of those.
Just a little wee.
Yeah, whatever, like little pins and stuff they got, I'm all about it right now.
All right.
Now, just as an aside, from looking at that map and his description, does it seem like if that plan were enacted, that would in fact significantly improve the defenses of the town?
Oh yeah, dramatically.
Okay.
And so you head up the stairs, and the aide opens the door, and you see there's that Tom is face down on his desk, snoring, and he slips in through the door, closes it on you. You hear some muffled sounds, And then he opens the door and says, come in, come in. And Tom is sitting up, still kind of like red-eyed and bleary. And he looks and says, oh, hello, voters. Hi, I'm Tom, and I would like to be your mayor.
All right.
For some
I walk
reason,
right
I
up
can
and
just
shake
relate
his
to
hand
him.
with a really firm handshake.
And he shakes it back, and he says, that's a firm handshake you've got.
I've been told that, sir. I've been told that. Now, does he have the sort of floppy politician handshake or not?
No, he's got a firm grip.
Okay, because politicians who do tons of handshaking learn to not shake super hard because their hands get sore from it. So I'm just wondering if he's really got that grip.
What a detail.
So, I think I can explain. I could give a little background on that. See, I'm not a career politician.
Nor am I.
I'm a local business person, and I just had to get in the race because I didn't feel like we're safe. I feel like Mayor Becker, nobody can argue that he has brought great prosperity to the town, especially lately, but I think I could continue that prosperity without putting us in danger, real danger of the creatures and groups out there.
Well, I think we can all agree that this is a dangerous world and getting ever more dangerous as the Empire fades away.
I agree completely.
As they're talking, I'm going to see if I could possibly look into a drawer, kind of look behind the desk. Is anything in the recycling bin, the waste bin?
So the best action for clandestine actions like that is finesse. And since there's two people here looking across the room, I would say you're probably at risky position of getting caught here. But normal effect. It doesn't look like his drawers are locked or anything like that.
Grigsby, just continue to act drunk. You accidentally opened drawers.
I'm not gonna act like.
Pull open a drawer and just.
Does that count as assisting?
Yeah, that could be an assist or a setup action.
Hey.
So
I don't even want to know if his tab was put on my bill. He's gonna make it work for us here.
So do you want to just spend a stress and have that be an assist, or do you want to roll that as like an emote setup action to draw everybody's attention?
I will assist.
Okay. So when you assist in Forged in the Dark, you pay one stress, and then you help an ally out, giving them an extra die to their roll.
Mark that on my sheet. Yeah. So I'm at one stress.
2 and a 6.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. So with a 6, you successfully pull open the drawers, leaf through, and grab a few important looking documents, and you do not get caught. Mostly because they're too busy cleaning the vomit out of one of their drawers.
Nice.
It's just a bunch of sawdust in there. That's all he throws up.
He's to the dry heaving stage. It's just termites and sawdust.
Oh, poor Grigsby.
And so the aide is going to politely but firmly escort Grigsby downstairs and out of the office.
I got him, Jack. I'll take care of it.
All right. And so you head down with him.
I have one more question for candidate Tom, which is, well, since you've been pushing such a safety platform, I'm just wondering about your opponent. Has he responded by addressing your concerns, trying to counter your position by proposing any safety interventions, or is he just completely continuing to ignore everything you have to say?
So he tips his head and gives you sort of a sympathetic look, and he says, not from around here, are you? No. Becker has actually refused to debate or answer any of my issues. He's got the advantage in funding, and for some reason, a lot of the people just support him. I think I've got a substantive platform, but I can't convince a lot of people.
Hmm.
So
Do you think there's anything that would put you over the edge there?
he sort of looks around conspiratorially and then says, I mean, if the revenants show up, I think a lot of people will realize I was right. Or if
Right.
there's suddenly, an attack of goblins or that there's that fairy court out there, if a bunch of magical creatures were to suddenly come pouring over the cliff edge, I think the next day I'd win in a landslide. But obviously I don't want that because we're
No.
defenseless.
Of course not. That would be terrible. Now, when is the election being held?
Oh, it's coming up soon. Just end of the week.
End of the week. Okay. So if there were to be such an attack, a terrible, unfortunate attack, it would have to happen pretty quick.
And he looks at you and he's like, No, really, I don't want an attack.
Of course,
People would
no,
die.
Of course not. No one wants such a thing.
All right. So just so we're clear, I don't want this to happen.
I'm very clear on that, sir.
Great. Okay. Then yes. I mean, if it did happen before the end of the week, it would probably win me the election. That's true.
No problem, Mayor. We hear you loud and clear.
You're not there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're
well, if I was,
still.
that's what I would say.
Yes.
I understand that you're a very busy person, sir, and I don't think we need to take up any more of your time. I really appreciate it.
And he nods and says, "All right, thank you. Thank you for your support.
You have a lovely day, sir."
You too." And as you're leaving, you see him put his head back down on his desk.
Yep. Well, he's obviously been campaigning very hard and needs his rest.
All right. And so you step out into the street and reconvene as a party, share info. And I assume you're going to look through those papers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Surreptitiously, we don't want to get caught doing this right out in the middle of the street.
Yeah, good point.
And
so
handing out flyers. I'll be like doing the footwork for him. Don't worry. It'll give us cover. They won't suspect the thing.
You see that Tom is largely self-funded. His largest donor by far is the local lumberyard, who it's pretty clear are expecting to receive the contract to build those defenses around the cliff. And you also see that he is losing. His own polling numbers put him at 25 to 30% of the vote. And other than that, you don't find anything particularly suspicious. But there is something you could put together by looking at the data in aggregate. So if somebody wants to roll dabble as a gather information fortune roll, you could see what you can piece together.
Irma's really good at dabbling.
I do. I already have 2 in dabble.
All right.
Give me one second here.
That would be what to do.
Yep. 6 and a 4.
There you go. That's a success. So just to fill people in on what dabble is, because the name doesn't really explain itself. Dabble is the action for doing the unusual, solving mysteries, researching esoteric topics, and also a unique feature in Deathwish is that for each point of dabble, you take an additional character class that you have access to, and so you can use the tools and special abilities from that set of as well. So with that 6 there, you get a full success and something extra to gather information. So you put together that these groups of hardliners, as he calls them, people who refuse to listen or take his issues seriously at all, are all in the district of the mayor's office and the district just north of it. And you see that, and then you also piece together from that data that these hardliners are all So they're not they're not financially aligned with the mayor. They're not people who would really benefit from this. It's the geography is seems to be more of an impact on their voting pattern than anything about them as people.
So are they the ones that are technically going to lose land or property due to the new defenses?
No, it doesn't seem like they've got any real financial interest at all. In fact, the people in the district north actually are some of the people who would benefit from the new defenses. For example, that's where a lot of the workers are who would probably get jobs constructing the new defenses and the big towers and stuff. It would probably put their skills more in demand.
Sorry,
go ahead.
Sorry, is there like a tax office or something here? Like a property surveyor's office? Is there a surveyor's office here?
Yeah.
Can we go look there and maybe find if there's any documentation regarding property value or tax brackets of the proposed new mayor being put in, to where those people that are kind of like hardlining, essentially they'd be put in a higher tax bracket, and that's why they don't want to?
You'd have that from your own papers that you stole from Tom, and no, his actual financial plan is pretty much what the guy said. It's to raise tariffs and to crack down more on smuggling, and then he's also going to raise a significant amount of debt that would be paid off over years. But that's not anything that would impact these people in a way that really makes sense for them.
We're going. So who side is the lumber company on again?
Tom, because they're the ones who are going to get to build the defenses.
Right. So Grigsby would be thinking about that. If I'm made out of wood now, am I supposed to feel some way about?
Another question I have is, we did notice the smuggling route on our way into town. Was that on the north end?
It was on the east end.
East end. So the people potentially that are hardlining, I wonder if they're connected anyway with the smuggling rings.
Maybe they're not in that district, but they could be associated with it in some way.
Right.
With some, you could go survey that area, sort of see what you might find those people have in common.
Good at that. I got 2. No, I do not. Oh wait, no, that's not my sheet. I have 2 in survey.
Don't put dots in my sheet.
I have 2 in survey.
I think it would be also helpful to go and talk to some of the folks back in that bar, now that we have a better sense of what the overall election landscape looks like, and kind of ask them what their devotion to the mayor is.
Okay.
What should we do?
And so are you? Okay, so without pushing them or anything, you just talk, and they just say that they really like the cut of his jib. He's a trustworthy guy, and he's brought in a lot of money. He's someone you could have a beer with.
Okay, whereas Tom seems a little more aloof and standoffish.
Yeah.
So
that sounds right.
Not so personable.
Yeah.
Is there any kind of family tradition, like people vote for Grigsby and his family through the years, or?
No, he's actually pretty new. He just won the most recent election before this one, and before that nobody had really heard of him.
Oh, really? Okay, so it's not some long-standing thing.
Go talk to him.
To Becker?
We could go talk to Becker.
Yeah. His office is also open. Probably wouldn't be able to get a word in with him personally, but you could talk to his campaign.
Yeah, Grigsby's pretty convinced of this other guy though. He's all in.
You're a candidate Tom guy.
Yeah,
you're still covered in Tom merch.
Yeah, I'm just a walking billboard.
It's actually attached to you now. You're covered in flyers.
For some reason, he reminds me of myself. I just like. Seems like an upstanding fellow.
So the other option we have, if we were to hightail it out of this town and see if we could connect with the ferries and try to arrange some sort of impressive but relatively harmless thing that looks like an impending attack. Well, that would, as Mr. Tom said, that would serve him quite well.
Question, with the fairies, do they have a sort of magic or something, or any sort of like illusionary aspect to their nature?
So with ether, which is one of the alchemic elements, anybody can make illusions. Fairies use it, but not more than anybody else. Their main magic is that fey art that lets them create biological creatures that wouldn't normally exist.
So they can technically create something on the other side, and it appears in this side.
Yeah, it would be able to live on this side. Unlike like the giant beetle your town lives on, if it came through, it would suddenly have to deal with the laws of physics and would collapse.
Just die. Yeah.
Yeah.
So sorry, go ahead.
I'm just wondering if there's anything that we could leverage along those lines in terms of doing somebody a favor fast enough to make this happen. We kind of passed over the journey here, but what kind of time frame was involved in coming from our home to here?
So in Deathwish, we kind of hand wave that. So if you want to come home, make an alliance, and then come back and try this mission again, you could do that.
We think there would be time for that. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, there would be.
Question: the mark, like, is it Deathwish, the mark that we got from the Tomb of Heroes?
Is it called Deathwish? No.
Yeah. Mine look like a D and a W, and I'm just be like, it's a Deathwish.
Yeah. The reason that name comes up most often in setting is because it's assumed that anybody who gets one of those marks has a Deathwish.
Oh, yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, I propose we just knock some heads and show them what these marks really mean.
So something we can do is approach the fairies and say, hey, we feel that attack is imminent. We don't want a loss of life. Can you create, essentially an army, have it plop down in front of the city, give everyone a scare on that side, and then go from there and actually getting the town prepared for this. But the question is what do we have to be able to leverage to the fairies to be able to do that? That's the only safe way that I can see having those defenses put in.
So there is a mechanic for that, in that you can call on your alliances with support boxes that you'll earn by doing the alliance missions. So once you've done the alliance missions, you can then use up the support that you've earned to have them come help you complete this mission. If you wanted to give up on doing this this time.
So we'd have to do them a favor.
Yeah. Yeah, and owing a favor to the Fae, when has that ever gone wrong?
No, that's never a problem.
Knowing the GM, I know pies are not going to cut it.
They might.
Have to be real good pies.
They have to be real good pies. That's true. So yeah, if we are thinking about aborting the mission and running away, the one thing to keep in mind is that I will get to use the Nemesis strike before you leave, which is a mechanic where
good.
yeah, your Nemesis comes out and hits you. Just
we don't know who that is yet.
Yeah,
hit us bad.
That could be fun.
Yeah.
So the Nemesis will hit you at some point during the mission, no matter what.
Oh gosh.
I'm just saying that if you try and go back to town, I have to resolve that before we can abort the mission.
I'll punish you no matter what. Okay.
This is what happens when you go day drinking.
But yeah, did you want to try talking to Mayor Becker first, maybe?
Yeah, let's go have a chat with Mayor Becker. But I know Ian, you said there'd be kind of time within the game structure to do this, but from Jack's perspective, he's thinking if we're going to try to get that done, we should head out fast.
Yeah. So after you talk to the mayor, if it doesn't seem like you can just talk him into accepting the threat is real, then you should probably go do that.
All right. All right. Does that sound like a reasonable plan to you folks?
Sounds good. to me.
We could. Another alternative is I got a lot of stuff that go boom boom in this here pot. I can always create a ruckus on that side of the wall to cause a scare. Won't be as threatening though. But it for a small demonstration perhaps to the mayor it can work. But I'm not sure how effective that would be
Hmm.
in the long run.
Well, depending on how much explosives you got, that might be a great addition to whatever we can achieve with getting the Fey folk to help us out.
Well, let's see. All right. I got black iron powder. I got my white pepper. I got some basilisk saliva. Don't ask me where I got that.
No
I got-
questions.
Hopefully.
I've got, let's see. I mean, I got a launch pad, I got a balloon, I got some anchors, I got some guns.
There are definitely some creative things you could put together, but I don't know if it would be enough to convince the town they need an anti-army defense all by yourself.
I mean, the only thing I could really think of is that black
Wait.
iron powder bottle.
Are we
because
false flagging them? Like, are we staging the
Uh-huh.
attack that?
Seems to be the direction that the plan is going.
Okay.
Even though Tom was really hoping you wouldn't, but
Just
we'll
making
see.
sure.
I mean,
Grigsby's not a planner, so it's all going over his head. But
hey,
Ray
Grigsby.
was like, yeah.
How much of that lithium ink do you have on you?
So I have that lithium ink. Can I?
I will
Because
say,
I technically have black iron powder, which interacts with that and like confuses water creatures. And I mean, there is a sewer system and everything underneath this city.
yeah.
Is that item in somebody's playbook, Ian? Is there a way I can get it? Because I do have one in Dabble, and I didn't take another a playbook yet.
Yeah, I think anybody can take it actually. If they just put a point in pack, they can take a supply of it.
Yes.
So
Okay.
for the audience, pack is an action that gives you points of supply. And when you spend a point of supply, you choose some item that your character just has a lot of. It doesn't really care if you've got 1 or 10, you just pull it out. So you might have a supply of throwing knives if you want your character to use throwing knives, or you might have a supply of dynamite so that your character has a whole bunch of dynamite.
Or what is this thing called again? Perthian?
Lethian ink.
Lethian. Baby, do I.
And Lethian ink is the alchemic element that when you write with it or get it on your skin, it pulls out your active memories and stores it in the ink. And then somebody who reads it can get an impression of what you were thinking. Or if they drink it, they can actually absorb those memories and have them as if it was their own.
That's the way I can still get drunk. Okay.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh. All the creatures in the sea just have Grigsby's hangover.
Pour that in the sewer and a bunch of angry sea monsters will be
I'm
attacking you all the time.
Yeah, because that black iron powder. But you can add it to water to confuse creatures that communicate by Lethian ink.
Yeah.
And drug them with ambrosia at the same time. Oh, what's ambrosia?
So when you combine Lethian ink and black iron, the amalgam that's created from those two elements is called ambrosia. And what ambrosia does is whenever you try and inflict a fake emotion, whenever you try to force yourself to feel something, it instead makes you feel, what does it make you feel? Extreme drunkenness, losing inhibitions, and suffering from short-term memory loss.
I need it. Grigsby.
Yes, and that is actually what the guy in the coat was going to sell you. Is he was going to sell you some ambrosia because
Man,
it is
I'm
a
so
controlled substance.
This is what
Grigsby,
happens
you
when you don't
idiot.
come into Auntie Irma first. She could have made this for you.
Grigsby. He's going through a lot right now. Maybe he'll mellow out.
Yeah.
Someday
No
he'll
dr-
come into his own and
Someday.
and come to feel the need to fulfill his destiny with his mark.
If he
But I
doesn't
don't
end up
think
like a
he's
4x4
there yet.
first.
This
All
is why
right.
you don't do drugs from strangers.
So before you take a bunch of
Cautionary tale.
drugs, you want to talk to the mayor?
I would recommend that. Yes.
All right. Pre-drug party. Got it. And so you cruise up to the mayor's office, and there are not helpful greeters at the door. But you come inside, and his secretary looks up and says, "How can I help you?"
Well, I take off my hat and I say, "Howdy. We're interested in we're newcomers to town, and we're interested in the mayoral race, and was wondering if we could talk to somebody about the mayor's. I think they call it a platform."
And he nods and says, "I suppose I can help with that. We haven't really been campaigning much. The word around town is that Becker is going to win in a landslide. Honestly, he's just done great things for this town, and we think that the people are going to recognize that. If you want to see some of the great work we've done, I think honestly you can just head down to the harbor and see all of the goods flowing into town on ships and being paid for and floating out on airships. Or head to any of the fine establishments in town where you can see money and goods are flowing and people are having a great time."
There does seem to be quite a bit of prosperity in this town. I agree with you.
If you want, we've got little flags.
Oh, how nice. Does the mayor have a response to his opponent's position in terms of safety, or does he consider there to be simply no threat whatsoever?
How Tom wants to build his little fort up on the wall. No, the mayor has no response to that ridiculous claim.
Simply not worth it. So, what would you say to the actual reality that the empire has faded away, and that there are folks out there who could potentially threaten the town?
If hypothetically there were a threat to the town, we've got money in the coffers to hire mercenaries or construct defenses on an as-needed basis.
So that's the plan under those circumstances?
That's right.
Okay.
Even with the very large benefits of influx in economy with all the new jobs and contracts and everything flowing of that possible defenses.
The secretary crosses his arms and says, "Oh, so let me guess, you talked to Tom first. Well, let me tell you, it's not an influx if the government is paying the people to do a job. That's not good business. That's just wasting government money that should be going back to the people."
Do you see these little legs? His building was closer to the entrance than yours. I had to walk way up here, but I did bring you a muffin.
Oh, thank you. And he holds out his hand and takes the muffin. And he puts it to the side on his desk.
Well, thank you very much for your time. If it's okay, we'll take a couple of your flags.
Oh, for sure. And he hands you a couple of little flags.
I'm gonna slap it out of his hands while he's picking them up, and I'm just gonna point to him and be like, "Mayor, you've made your people soft. That's why I'm voting for." I'm gonna point to all the stickers.
I think it's
saunter my way
time
out.
for us to all be leaving.
And so I'm just gonna make one point: is you do notice that you slap his hand, and your hand bounces off. And then he glances at you and then drops the flags as if you knocked them out of his hand.
Yeah. Good thing I didn't feel that.
So I say we'll be on our way, but I reach out to shake his hand.
and he shakes your hand, and the secretary's hand is very cold, and very strong.
Right.
He
So
shakes your hand.
if I'm real firm with him, it's just kind of like rock. There's no.
Yeah, it's like a solid granite. Like he's just shaking your hand, and you're there.
Right. How cold is it? As in, this doesn't feel like a human, or just somebody who's got a coldish
like
body
strong air conditioning. You know, like he's just a very chilled person.
chilled person. So I would get the sense that there's some kind of alchemy thing going on with his body chemistry.
There could be. Dabble is the action to solve mysteries. If you want to see if you can piece together what might be going on here.
I'm good at that. I am technically a detective. That's my class.
The guy who just randomly walks out.
So you want to walk out and reconvene with the detective Grigsby?
Well, Grigsby was the first person to notice that.
Yeah, but he doesn't know that his hand was cold because he can't feel anything.
Yeah, of course.
But maybe Sorry, go ahead.
I think it's one of those moments of like he walks out and then we like walk up and we're like, dude, did you totally feel that guy's hand? He's like, I'm gonna go back and investigate.
Oh, and I'm just gonna add
like
that Irma also noticed one piece of evidence, which is as you were leaving, Irma, you see him brush your muffin into the trash can.
Oh.
Well, how dare he?
These people are so disrespectful of the muffins.
Well, this is the second one today.
Yeah.
All right. So I think that's been another hour of gameplay. So we'll take another break and then come back for the finale in about 5 minutes.
Sounds great.
Cool.